little Radio Row magic here, joined now at the table by our All-City colleague, Todd Davis. Todd, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
We're doing very well.
That ring is impressive, Todd.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Well earned, too,
What
right?
is, I mean, what's like the care of the ring? How often do you bring it out? What's your whole ring routine?
You know, I really don't wear it too much. You know, I keep it in like a jewelry box.
Okay.
So it's locked away. It's pretty secure. And then just like special occasions or any like kind of like charity work, that's when I bring it
And
out.
if you want to flex a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's a good flex.
I would say so. One thing we want to ask you about, the main thing we want to talk to you about is you had a chance when you played for the Broncos, I think 1 year, right?
Yep.
To play under Vic Fangio, who was the Eagles' new defensive coordinator. What can like Eagles fans and Eagles players in that building expect with Fangio?
You know, it's a unique experience. You know, he's definitely a brilliant football mind. Definitely knows how to orchestrate a great defense. Not much of a talker.
Okay.
You know, not much of a talker. You definitely have to like lead conversations when you guys are talking. But overall, I think he's a good guy. Not my favorite Broncos coach.
Okay.
But I think he was a great guy.
Who was your favorite Broncos coach?
Kubiak for sure.
Well, you got that ring.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
So, like, the book on Vic from a player's perspective is, like, kind of crotchety, like curmudgeon old guy. Is that does that track?
I don't know who, you know, gave that description, but, you know, it's probably somebody that was in a locker room. But maybe it's an accurate one.
No, go ahead.
In Philly, a big knock on the roster composition is that they don't value linebackers. And you being a linebacker who played for Vic Fangio, how important is that position in his scheme?
It's very important. I think it's maybe the most important. If you look at all the success he's had throughout his, you know, coordinating career, he's had great linebackers from, you know, Navarro Bowman at San Francisco.
The Todd Davis.
He's always
Roquan Smith.
Yeah, Roquan Smith.
Todd Davis.
He always loves great, hard-hitting, fast-flowing linebackers. So I think it's maybe the most important position, you know, in his defense.
And so what are the responsibilities in his defense for a linebacker that are different than they might be in some other schemes?
You know, there's a lot of checks that linebackers have to make versus different formation, versus different, you know, alignments. I think you have to do a lot getting guys lined up and ready. And he's always bringing in, you know, new plays and different schemes. Like, he may come to you Saturday morning, you know, as a linebacker, like, hey, I'm probably going to put this in tomorrow.
Okay.
Like, we haven't worked it, we haven't ran it, but you got to get guys ready. You're like,
but it
all
came
right.
to me at 4 a.m. last night.
It came to me in a vision, and I
Right.
just had to run it, yeah.
Okay. Now, you know, we sort of hear about, like, some defensive coordinators are very static schemes,
Yeah.
right? And this is what we do, and this scheme allows us to have answers for different things, whereas there are some who are a little bit more week-to-week game plan specific. You sort of change things around. Which end of that spectrum is Vic in your experience?
I think he's game plan specific, and I think he game plans based off of, you know, who he has in that locker room. He's not one of those guys that, like, you know, this is my scheme, I run it no matter who I have. I think he does a good job of mixing it up based on the personnel that he has, you know, any given team, really.
And the reason that's important, too, is because like that scheme, if you will, has become vogue around the NFL.
Yep.
And then it's kind of at a point now where teams know how to play against it. Is it adapting to the point that, like, what Brandon Staley runs or what Carolina runs, like that's not quite the same scheme that he has anymore, that it keeps evolving?
Yeah, I think so. And I think you see he continues to have success, you know, from team to team. Like, even though teams are adapting, even though offenses are getting much more powerful and really, you know, mixing up run, pass, RPO, deep shots, intermediate passing game, I think he's able to adjust well. He's been a coach for so long. I think that's a testament to how well he adapts to different offensive schemes.
What about your understanding of the things that he's going to ask from the corners and the safeties and the secondary?
He's going to ask them to play a lot of man. I think he's going to ask them to, you know, have some tough downs. You know, sitting down and talking to him, he was just explaining how not every down is going to be a hard down for each player, but we just need you to win. We need you to win one or two of your tough downs for us to be a successful defense. Like, if we're playing cover two,
framing, yeah,
if we're playing cover two, the corners may have an easy down just covering the flat, but when it's man to man in the red zone and we need that one, that's when we need the corners to step up. So every person's tough down, he likes to rotate it.
That's interesting.
And then you just win one or two of your tough downs, and, you know, you'll be a pretty successful defense.
Which, from, like, just the standpoint of how do you make it through a whole game, that's kind of nice to know that they're, like, there's not that you're going to take the play off, but, like, if you know that you got to bring it on a few downs, that's interesting.
Exactly.
Does that help you as a player?
Yeah, I think it has, because not necessarily you have to take a play off, but, you know, If I'm sitting in cover 4, I know this is probably my easier down.
Right.
And playing man-to-man on Kelsey is probably my tougher down.
Right.
So I know I got to, maybe preserve some energy in cover 4, and then cover 1, I got to give it everything I got.
That's interesting.
Now, random question that has nothing to do with the scheme itself. He's on record saying he's a big Philadelphia Phillies fan and watches every game. Did he ever mention the Phillies in defensive meetings with you guys?
No, I can't say he brought them up. So I'm not saying he is or isn't, but I don't know if I've ever heard it before.
Okay. Now, any other sort of personality quirks to keep an eye out for with Vic?
No, he's a good guy. It was really funny because he's from Scranton, right?
Yep.
And I'm a big Office fan.
Me too.
I love The Office. So, I'm thinking he's from Scranton. Of course, he loves it. He watches it. And so I asked him about it. He's like, no, just not my humor. It's not really fun to me. And I was shocked because this is one of the best shows ever made.
Which of the Office characters would you compare him to the closest?
He's a little bit of a Creed.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just a little bit.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that was great stuff. We appreciate
Todd,
it.
thank you so much.
Perfect.
Great
Thank
insight.
you, guys.
Appreciate it.
It's good to see you.
Yeah,
Enjoy
thanks
that
for
ring,
taking the
man.
time.
Yes,
No
sir.
worries.
We all silly like the mayor.